Good morning. It's just gone 7:30 and welcome to my channel. Back on the subject of 10 tips to improve your landscape photography without breaking the bank. It's morning again. We've got a very similar morning to yesterday with a lot less wind. It's still cloudy out to the east. The sun should have risen just shortly after 7 o'clock. We won't probably see it until after 8 today. What I thought I'd do for a start is list off the 10 tips that we're going to discuss through this series of videos. And as I think I talked about yesterday, first one is preparation. I've got some more things to add to the preparation theme, but that's pretty well understood. The second tip is positioning the subject in the landscape. Now, in this particular case, and in most cases with landscape type subjects, you can't move the landscape or the subject. So really all you can do is change the positions where you use to take the photograph from. The other, which we've probably talked about already, is lighting and time of day. My preference obviously is morning, evening and night. The fourth recommendation is check for foreground interest. Check for some subject that you can put either in the top or the lower part of your frame, preferably the lower, which gives some interest and depth to the subject. The fifth tip is look closer for the small subject. It could be part of the larger subject that you're taking photos of, but it could well be, in a lot of cases, that there's a small part of that subject which gives a better idea of what you're talking about or a better idea of the story. Number 6 is simply add water. I remember when I was first being taught how to take photographs, being told by my boss at the time, water adds something to photographs in every genre. And he used to endeavour to use water in portrait photography because water has a number of characteristics that the other elements of your landscape or your background don't have, and that's one of the things I want to explore on this site. The 7th tip is document scale. Now that doesn't sound like a particularly attractive tip, but it simply means that sometimes without having something in the frame to measure against, you need either a person or an object. I've seen photographs with this particular subject where they've actually put a bike beside the steps to give the steps scale. Also, add colour. Most of our landscapes have a relatively limited palette. They generally are blues and greens because the sky's blue. Grass and trees are green. Photographers get really excited in autumn when there's yellows and orange and red leaves. So that's part of the, if you can actually increase the colour palette, then that makes life a lot better. Number 9 is tell the story, and there's definitely a story with this site. It's a very interesting spot. And number 10 is probably one of the larger of the tips, is exposing correctly. And what I want to do is discuss a little bit of the theory of exposure in simple terms so that you can probably understand where our modern metering systems can fall down. I'm old enough to remember the rule of F16, which is basically at 100 ISO and 120th of a second, you set your aperture at F16 on a clear blue sky day where you had sunlight, direct sunlight on the subject. And that's, I'm going to come back not quite as crude as that, but put some ideas in front of you about strategies to understand your subject better and understand the exposure on the subject better.